Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Lajja. Lajja, as you know, is a forum which gives women non-judgmental space to be themselves. This is a place where we're not judging you by your education, by your social standing, nothing. We are here to support you. We are here to push you to do better than what you've been doing already. We are here to teach you new things if you can. We are here to introduce you to more inspiring women and someday hopefully also have you inspire our other women too. So welcome to Laja, welcome to the special bath Laja ke saath. So today's topic, hi Bharti, happy to see you join right at the start. So let me tell you about today's topic. Today we're talking about decluttering our spaces. Now the lockdown has put all of us indoors. Of course, now it has opened up and people are moving out. But these 3 months that we were at home, I guess a lot of us realized that our space, is what is important for us. Our space is what has we have to church, turned our homes into our offices. So what we present on our screens is important. And I guess a lot of you, like me, have realized that my house is cluttered. I have a lot of things at home which I don't necessarily need, and yet things which I'm not ready to throw away. So, to help us understand what decluttering actually means, to help us understand how to organize our spaces and hopefully beautify it and have them as beautiful and as lovely looking as the pictures we see in magazines. So for that, we have a special guest with us. Let me bring her on screen. So this is
Hi.
our guest for today. Hi, Sneha. So welcome
Hi,
to
Vandana.
Special Bath Laja Ke Saath. So for
Thank
those
you
of
so
you
much.
who don't, so for those of you who don't know who Sneha is, Sneha Kumar is an associate architect with Room Design. She is into interior styling and she's an interior styling decorator. She has a rich and diverse portfolio, and this is an, an introduction that her friend gave us, and you can feel the love when I'll read it out to you, and you can feel the love that her friends have for her. So okay, so here goes. Her rich diverse portfolio is just like her multifaceted personality. She has spruced up residences, beauty salons, clinics, corporate offices, and is armed with a potent 16-year experience in the field. And believe me, when your friend says things like this about you, you know you have arrived. You know that you're doing the best that you possibly can. So, Sneha, welcome to Laja. Welcome to the special bath. And Sneha now is busy she has now expanded her expertise for design and hospitality with her new project, which is called Nostra Villa, a resort at Lonavala. Is that right?
That's right. That's absolutely right. And I take
Um,
complete pride in showing off that project to the world because the way I think I have done my best to it for that.
Awesome, awesome. This is once the lockdown ends and once there is the people are a little bit free to roam around. I think we should all make a visit to the resort, and Sneha will have the doors open for us. So till that
Of
happens,
course.
let's talk. Till that happens,
Of course.
let's talk about the topic. As a
Sure.
designer, how do you explain declutter?
Um, well, I always say to begin with, whenever I'm even doing up spaces to a client, which maybe a new home, whether it's a renovation or whatever. My first criteria that I ask the client is to make a checklist of what they require, which is again very, very important because everybody requires everything. There is no end to what you require in life. There is never an end to it. But there are certain things that has to come on your criteria. So when the client gives me a checklist, there are like 100 of things. But out of those 100 things, you have to tick mark only the first 10 points. So what is
Okay.
actually required? Like, in terms of what is your necessity that has to be in your house. That's very important. Those first 10 things are is your requirement. The rest is all declutter. Let's put it that way. That the
Oh,
rest is
good
all
Lord.
clutter. So
Okay.
the rest is
Wow.
absolutely which we just, because see, I think somewhere down the line, being Indians, being being women, we love collecting stuffs, whether it's ancestral, ससुराल का, मैके का, इधर का, उधर का, and then finally there is one full, complete thing, in our house, which is like from everywhere around the world, which is mostly emotional. They are most of the things which are emotional attachments. I agree,
Yes.
keep them all, but not all. So it's very important to know what is your requirement, what is to be kept and what is not to be kept. And let's put it this way, that fashion in this industry changes damn quick, like especially especially when it comes to gadgets. Let's put it that way, gadgets are the most evolving business in the industry. So whenever you do up your house, make it sure that you have enough space for gadgets, but not old gadgets. Don't keep them for too long. Matlab, there are certain, like for example, a few years ago, iPod were like, oh, much wanted things. In today's date, nobody wants it. Everybody just has a music bar, and that's more than enough. Your phone just is a mini gadget that can handle so many things. So that is the reason you should make places for these things, but at the same time, make it sure that your old stuff keep going away. Now that even happens to things like your furnitures, to your kitchen equipments, to your kitchen gadgets, to your rugs, to your mats, whatever. So that is whatever is not required over a period of 3 years, please please push them away, because they are even not only out fashioned. Secondly, they are not required. They catch dust. You'll get allergies to it. Zarurat nahi hai. So that is what
So
I think
3
you should.
years is what you're giving it.
Yeah. That's more. 3 years where there are so many things that keep coming in the market. And let's put it that way also, that now the market is not like before. Earlier, the market was such that you would buy one stuff and that would work for like a really long time, because the new things wouldn't come. Now with the market evolving, the market getting so competitive, 3 years or 5 years maximum. I don't think you should be keeping anything beyond that. If you don't do that, your poor vendors also won't get business. Let's put it that way.
Okay, spoken like somebody who's been giving a lot of business to the vendors. Okay, now tell me something. Like they say, no, har ghar kuch kehta hai. That sentence, which has, I think Asian Paints has that line. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's like a tagline which is like stuck in my head. And I would say that har ghar hi nahi, har kamra kuch kehta hai. So uh, each room of a house has its own personality, has its own individuality, and sometimes the chaos is what adds to that personality. So what do you have to say about it? Like if you walk into a child's room, you are bound to find absolute chaos. So
Correct.
in such a case, how does declutter work?
Now again, in this case also, I would say there's a very thin line between chaos and being shabby. Let's put it that way. Okay,
Okay.
chaos and shabbiness has got a very thin line. A chaos looks very beautiful when it's an what do you say? It's an accumulation of different products put up very differently. Like I'll give you a very simple example. Your kid has got some skateboards, got a lot of skateboards. Not skateboards. What are those boards called? Just the boards and the wheels. I don't remember the
Yeah,
name of the
skateboards.
wheel.
That was skateboards.
Yeah,
Yes.
skateboards. Yeah, skateboards. Correct. So your kid has, because with age the skateboard sizes changes. Like they go bigger and all. I would take one of those skateboards, put it on the wall, and make them bookshelves. They are still there in the room, but they are looking very neat on the wall as bookshelves. So
Wow.
done. So again, the next thing would be, your kid has ample amount of cars, those Hot Wheel cars and those things. Put it up on a string, put it up somewhere near the window so that it looks like like a little toran kind of a thing for your kids' room. The cars are still there in the room. They still look very pretty, but it's just that they've been organized. They've been just put up neatly on a, on at a particular place, so I think it's very important, like as your kid grows, as you, like anybody, whether it's a kid, whether it's a family member or whatever, those products or whatever has been bought, which you want to treasure, which you don't want to throw away, but you still want to keep them as a clutter in your room, just organize them and keep it up. And when once that organization starts happening, that's when your room looks like a room. It looks like personalized into, like, whatever. Like, even, I myself, as a kid, when I would have these dolls, as kids we had so many these soft toys and these dolls. So after some time, we used to keep those dolls on the in the wardrobes hanging, and on the dolls we used to put up our pins and clips and all of those things. So that's how you use them, so that they look aesthetically right as well. So I think you should start doing this, and that's when that clutter becomes into that looks beautiful in place.
Wow, those are very interesting tips, and I'm going to use some. I have two daughters, and I know that every morning I walk into their room and have like a screaming bout, and we have this major argument, and I storm out, and then this gets repeated in the night and then the next morning. So, yeah, so lovely ideas. I think I'll give that a shot. Now, in a space like Mumbai, in a place like Mumbai, where most of the flats are really small, if we have to go about, let's sit down and talk about designing or making sure that we have enough space in each room. So let's start with the doorstep. How can somebody add personality or add? We don't want our flat to look like every other flat. So let's start from the doorstep. So let's walk through a house. So share some tips or share some ideas that people can use, effective, economical, and useful
Correct.
tips. Let's hear you.
So, like I said, whenever I have a client, I'll just give you an example of how I deal. So when I sit with a client, the first thing I try to understand the client's personality. Now everybody has a different personality. Now whatever tips we are giving, they're ballpark tips that I would give, but then at the same time you have to put it in your own personality. Like somebody would like a traditional house, somebody likes a very modern house, somebody likes a sci-fi looking house, whatever. So whatever, you have to first tick mark of your requirements in life. Okay, what is important?
Okay.
Like, for example, tell you the first thing when a person enters the house, like especially suppose the door, like some people are very fond of plants, and I personally also like plants. So make it a point that there is a lot of live plants at your doorstep or whatever, like with whatever forms, like a little bit of um, hanging lights. Your nameplate has to be very important. Your nameplate is something which gives a lot of character to your house. So at your doorstep, a beautiful nameplate with some light over it, with some planters down, that obviously adds a lot of character to your entrance itself. The first thing that I usually tell people is that at your entrance, do not keep too many things. Like, when a person is opening your door, not too many things jarring into the person's eye. Let it be, even if it's a flat wall, it's okay. On the flat wall, you could have some curios, you could have some mirror, you could have a small little console. All these things help. Usually what happens is people open the door and they see the shoe rack right in front of them. No,
Yes.
don't do that. So if you want to do a shoe rack, make it look aesthetically good so that it doesn't look like a shoe rack. You can have a beautiful full height cupboard which could take care of lot of things apart your shoes. So it could take care of your newspapers, because there are, otherwise the newspapers go up in the loft or they go up in some place under the table or something. So a shoe rack can be done in such a way which takes care of shoes, which takes care of your umbrellas, which can take care of your shopping bags and all, the market bags and all of those things like newspapers and all the other papers. So there is a cabinet at your door entrance which can take care of all of these things, so that these are the things which causes the clutter in the house. Like, there is never a space to keep your daily newspapers you have, but then the
What do you
over,
do?
so all, yeah, what do? You just keep dumping them in one place of your house. Maybe it's the loft, or maybe it goes under the sofa or wherever. Instead of that, let it go in that shoe cabinet. So that design your shoe cabinet. So usually what happens is, people design shoe cabinets which are shorter in height. I'd say
Yes.
take a full height. So that gives full height to that place, उसके अंदर आपका सब चला जाएगा. Plus, suppose if you have like a main distribution board, which usually happens at the entrance of your house, that can get concealed inside it. It looks aesthetically nice. So at the same time, when the person is entering to a thing which is looking good. It looks nice, but nobody knows what is behind it. Only when you open it, you technically know what is there behind.
True.
So something
True.
like this for the for your entrance part. Coming to the living room part, again, a lot of people try to think that in our living room, oh, we are going to have so many guesting and so many this and that, and that's why they clutter their entire living room with stuffs like a three-seater sofa, two-seater sofa, center table, a console, whatever. Try and keep it as short as possible. Try and keep it as simple as possible. We live in Mumbai where the room sizes are any which ways matchbox sizes. We have to compromise on a lot of things. So I always try to say that even if you're doing a TV unit, make the TV unit into such heights that if somebody wants to even sit on it, can sit on it and have the conversation. Use a lot of chaise lounges, which are the ones which without the backrest, because they give an openness to the room, and plus it can be
Okay.
used from any side, from the living room side as well as the dining room side. Try and use
Okay.
dining tables which are not necessarily all the time with chairs. They can be having benches on one side, some attached to the wall, which can have look like a sofa set. Use a lot of wing chairs. Wing chairs are again something very smart. They look good. My advice to a lot of people usually is that try to take subtle colors uh, in your rooms. Like always take a subtle color and take that one bright color which gets in that jhatak look to your living room. Maybe that wing chair could be in a chevron pattern or in a vibrant bird fly fabric or something. So just that one element, because what happens is when people are doing up their houses, they concentrate so much on buying a heavy marble or buying so colorful upholsteries for their sofas and all that they forget that there are a lot of other elements which will come in. Things like curos, your curtains, your
Yes.
shears. These are the things which add on color. So always try to keep your first three things subtle so that the rest can go a little more colorful and bright. And these, see, when you're working with things like shears, curtains, curos, after a certain point, if you're bored of them, you can change them. You can change
Yes.
an entire sofa set of yours, right? So
Okay.
sofa set always, your things like the sofas, your veneer colors, try and keep them as subtle as possible so that you are not, overpowering. You don't get bored of it at any time. Like you obviously want to change them, but the shelf life to any sofa or anything would be a 5 year or a 7 year thing. You don't change those in 3 years. In 3 years, you would change your curtains, you can change your curos. So, you should always keep changing these things so that your entire room starts looking different. So, these are important things.
Wow, that was
Same
so
thing when you
interesting.
come
The
to
first
bedroom.
three things, yeah, never thought of that,
Yeah.
and I guess most of us don't really think about that. Wow. Okay, so let's now step
Yeah,
into the
because
bedroom. Yeah,
yeah, bedroom.
continue, please.
So even when we come to bedroom, yeah, so bedroom when we come, people, when they do their wardrobes up, they forget what they themselves are using. Now you could have a different usage to your wardrobe, and I have a different usage to my wardrobe. You may be fond of bags. I would be fond of scarves. So let's put it that way. So there are people who have a lot of back space and scarves. So always design your wardrobes in such ways that you have designated spaces for everything, whether it's whatever. Like as a lady of the house, you should sit with your designer and always give your specifications, because wardrobe otherwise gets very messy. They don't look right. Yet another advice that I give for wardrobes is you should always try and have a very small cabinet, as as narrow as possible, with lowered shutters for your linens and your soiled clothes. Now what happens is there are certain times that you just go down and you come up. You just wear a t-shirt, go down and come up, and the t-shirt is lying behind your on the hook behind your uh, door. No, don't do that. Have a space inside your wardrobe which is a little, like very small space, which has lowered shutters, so that it becomes a breathing fabric, like a breathable space where the person can keep that whatever the linen, the things. So all that also goes inside, and you will see general tendencies. Towels, your track pants, t-shirts, they're always lying all over the house, or you're just trying to find some space. So all this can go over there. Not only that, even sometimes you come
Okay.
back from somewhere and your bags are wet. All that can go into those cupboards. Always design your wardrobe in such a way that all this happens. Second thing, your bed. When you
Okay.
design your bed, the aspect of your bed is not very important. People think about, a bed should be this and all. The aspect of your headboard is important. So always design in such a way where the importance to your headboard is being given. And again, now when you're coming to, changing of styles and some things like that, design your headboard in such a way which you would like to change in, say, around 3 years, 4 years time. If not your headboard, at least the backdrop to your headboard. So you could use a wallpaper as a backdrop, and then after a few years, you want to rip open that wallpaper and you do a mural art, do it. A headboard with a fabric tile, whether it's MDF, anything. So try and get a lot of heaviness to your headboard, not your bed. Like sometimes people do a lot of things to the bed, like light karenge, ye karenge, wo karenge. No, your bed can be simple. Your headboard can be important.
Wow.
So this is what I
Before,
think.
yes. Before we move on to the other rooms, let me just welcome everybody else who's come here. We have Bharti who joined in even, right exactly at the dot of 5. She's a Laja member. Then we have Priyanka who says super cute usage of soft toys. Yes, Priyanka, I agree with you, and I have tons over here. I know now what to do. We have Neha Doshi who says hi, Sneha. So I guess she's somebody known to you. Riddhi saying Sneha, lovely tips. Uh, Mausami Kapadia is asking, Sneha, do the curtains and the cushions have to be of the same pattern?
Never, never ever, in fact. So what you
Okay.
can do is, see, it depends on your usage of your curtains. So your curtains, you can decide whether you want curtains and shears. Now, a lot of people like that. They like to work with curtains and shears. If you're not working with curtains and shears, it's personal choices. Let's put it that way. You could go in for a thicker curtain, and or just a sheer, which is like a breathable and a light coming in factor to your room. But cushion covers are something which is totally off from everything. Like whether it's your curtain, whether it's your backrest, they don't need to be coordinated. They are something which is again yet another color adding factor. Like I told you that the your curtains, your cushion covers, your bedspreads, and all of this. These are things that add color to your room, and they're very important. That's the reason it's very important to keep everything else subtle right from the beginning, so that these things can add in color. So imagine if you used a laminate which was orange in color any which ways, and then you want to do curtains which are yellow in color, so your room will automatically look like a rainbow color thing. So that's the reason I
Has,
always tell people that please go a little slow on your colors.
unless you are like one of those rangeen mijaj wale who wants color in your house.
Really, that also looks good. Vandana, even that looks very nice. I'm not debating on those things but in that, again, there's very fine lines. You should know how to. So if I had to give my client an orange wardrobe, if somebody wants an orange wardrobe to themselves, I would give them gray walls. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't make the walls
Okay.
look white, because that it's stark. But when you give a gray color to the wall, it automatically subdues the entire thing. Like, it will subdue the thing to allow that orange color to come out, that beauty to come out of it. So that is very important. Like, it's very important to play with color, the right colors.
Interesting. Let me go back to when we spoke about the beds, you spoke about the headboard. Now, why is so much significance or importance given to the headboard?
That's what I
You were
said,
talking
that
about
the headboard is something, yeah, the headboard is something which adds character to the room. So the moment you enter any room, like considering a master bedroom especially, the first thing that you notice is the headboard. Is the first thing when you look at the bed, usually see what happens is the entry to any bedroom is like when you open the door, the first thing that you see is usually the bed, unless and until there is some vastu changes or anything apart that. The bed is something that is first visible to the eye. Now, obviously, when the bed is visible, you're going to look at the whole thing. the whole dynamic around it. So the only thing that can add beauty to it is the headboard. So that's why I said the headboard, it could be in color, it could be light in color, it could be a marble finish, it could be a glass finish, whatever. The finish is what you want, but then a headboard is something which adds character to the room. So it is something which is important. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I never thought of the headboard ever. So now I got to look at my headboard. Okay, so Neha is saying, love your cabinet idea for soiled clothes. And Manisha is saying, enjoying listening to you, Sneha. Thank you for the tips. Okay, so now let's move from the master bedroom to the kitchen. Let's talk about the children's bedroom. You did touch upon it, yes, but
yeah. So children's bedroom is such a never-ending topic now for all of us. Like considering all moms and moms of growing children who never want to grow. Let's put it that way. I'm a mother to a 9-year-old myself, and I know that the favorite character changes every year. So it changes right from Pikachu to Harry Potter to, I don't know, in so many years I've had so many this, and I'm so thankful that never ever thought that I bought those things as per his choices. So every year I had to renovate stuff.
So, absolutely.
Yeah. So I always feel that when you're renovating your child's room, it's important to know your child's, obviously your child's liking, but at the same time, the age group of the child. Usually what happens is, after when the child gets into their teens, like 12 years, 13 years, they suddenly become so big that they don't want any of those fancy characters that they liked probably even a year ago. If it's like a Frozen character that she liked a year ago, suddenly no, I hate Frozen. I don't want purple. I don't want pink. So so don't go by the choices of your children's to the furnitures. That is what I always advise my clients. So you play it subtle again with the children's room. Have all what they want in their room. If they want Frozen characters, they want any kind of a character, Spider-Man, Superman, or whatever, always try and make them in such aspects which can be picked up and thrown overnight without a hole in your pocket. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So yeah, because what happens is with these kids, like I'll give you a simple example. What you could do is, suppose your child is too fond of cars as a theme. Now, like we were talking about headboards. So I don't want you to make a bed which looks like a car, because if he's done with cars, then that bed also goes out with that car. So do a nice simple bed and do a headboard which could be in a glass, which could be digitally printed with different cars. So done. So that is taking care of your child's fascination of cars. And even if tomorrow if your child says that, oh, I'm done with cars and I don't want this car thing, it doesn't take too long to just change that headboard instead of changing the whole bed. Or for example, you have this wardrobe, like you can have a plain wardrobe where the handles could be something which is a car theme, or your study area could have something which has a car theme thing, like like I said, like the skateboard thing which acts like a bookshelf or something like that. So like yeah. So if you have some like cars which can take care of on the walls as curos or something, so something like that which can be changed, because usually what happens is children's room, they get bored of it really soon. So you have to keep changing them like at least every second or third year. So I don't advise that you do themed rooms for your children. I never advise that to anybody. I usually tell them, you want to use your themes, use them in your curtains, use them in your upholsteries, use them in your cushion covers. Nothing that the room has to, like there could be people who want castles in their room for their children and all of that. Shelf life, shelf life 3 years. After 3 years, that same client would be calling up and saying that, please, let's change it because this doesn't work anymore to us.
Yeah.
You have to be a little more on those things.
Absolutely. Okay, now let me read out a few more comments which have come in. Kasturi says creativity and fun. Yes, that's what we are trying to aim for. Mansi says do we have a zone like division while designing a children's room, like we have zones in designing a kitchen?
So that's what I think I just mentioned. Like, what happens is, in a children in your child's room, I think the first priority that you should do is a study table, because study table is something that is required. So even if they are at age 4 and you're doing up their room, make it sure that there is a study table for your child in that room, because, and obviously with the current scenarios, everybody needs a study table in their room. So something like a study table, lot of place for books, because books is something, even if that your child is not too fond of reading, suppose if they are not fond of reading, but still school books are something which keeps coming and adding on every year, so there is no end to the number of books. Usually parents forget of giving space for a printer in the child's room, yet another very important thing, because these days there's so much of printing that, when the child grows older, so the parent
Mm.
usually has a printer in their study room or wherever, so the poor child keeps going to the
True,
parents' room for.
true.
So obviously, all these things are like little basic things that the child should have it in their room, so that it is easily accessible. Something for their toys, like, if especially if they are hobby toys, like, longer cabinets to keep their rackets, bats, and stuffs like that. So usually some longer looking toy cabinet thing which takes care of all of those things. Even when you're doing up your child's library, try and make it a little fun by making it a little more colorful, by adding a pop of color of yellow or something like that, which makes it nice and colorful. So, at the same time, not a themed one, but a colorful one. Another
Mhm.
thing that your child could have is, if your child is interested in, like, world map or something like that, which adds yet another, interesting in terms of not only aesthetic wise, but even in terms of, like, education wise. So I think
Education,
all
yes.
that can be uh, it can be done.
So how important is it that when you're designing your child's room, should you be sitting with the child and the designer together and then sorting it out, or should you be saying मैंने decide कर लिया बस ऐसे ही होने वाला है? Is that the true way
So
forward?
what happens in most of the case, it's ulta. The child comes to us and says, मैंने तो decide
Mm.
कर लिया है, अभी आप करो, आपको जो करना है. So these days, I think the children are
Wow.
so opinionated. Like us, like my generation, I always feel the children these days are really, really opinionated. So I have children
Yes.
coming to me and saying that you do anything, but you're not using a pink to my room. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
I'm not going to use
Okay.
pink
Wow.
to your room.
Wow.
Especially
Wow.
girls saying that I want a black room, I want a black and golden room, and see, there is so much of access to them, to the internet and the world
Yes.
outside. They come back with pictures. I want this in my room. This is what I want. So
Wow.
I think the designer and child should sit together. The mother should never be in place.
Okay, point noted. Okay, we have somebody who Mansi who has put a question, which is a question that even I had in my mind. I have two daughters. So, how practical are bunk beds? Is something that Mansi is asking. Honestly, if you ask me, I have seen bunk beds where the upper bunk is never used and it's a place to pile clothes on. So, while my daughters have been
Yeah.
behind me for a bed like that, I have been putting it off. But yes, let's answer Mansi. How practical are bunk beds?
I say I'm not a fan of bunk beds myself. Never, never ever. So bunk beds is totally not me. The same thing, either there are fights between the siblings for going up, and who wants to sleep up and who wants to sleep down, and all of that, like coming up like this 101 this. So bunk bed is something which is okay when your kids are little small and you want to do it for aesthetic reasons, but beyond that, bunk beds is not something that I would want, especially teenagers, to use or something. Let them have their nice comfortable single bed approaches. And nowadays, your single beds also are done so beautifully up, like, two single beds side by side, or two single beds in an L shape, or two single beds in, like, parallel counters with their study tables and stuff. Like, in terms of designing, there is no end to that. So, I preference single beds. They are much more better than bunk beds. Bunk beds are fashion box. That's it.
Thank God there's somebody out there who says the same as me. Because I know I've had fights almost every second day with my children
Yeah.
asking for bunk beds, and I have to now. Of course, they are at an age where I can sit with them and explain. Keep bunk beds. Kyun nahi chalega? You know, if you're not well, I'm not going to be making you climb up. I can't come and sleep with you and stuff like that. But yes, so yes, actually, bunk beds are not very practical. They look all very nice and stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah, here we
They're
have.
perfect product. There's nothing beyond that.
Okay, we have Bhavna who's asking, in Mumbai, not everybody owns big homes. So for people living in a 1 BHK, how do we create designs keeping a common taste for all the members in mind? Tricky.
So, see, yeah, so that's quite a valid question. And, especially in smaller homes, I always suggest in smaller homes not to use too many bright colors. Try and keep it as subtle as possible, especially your wall colors. Like, I have seen smaller apartments where people use brighter colors on their walls and stuff like that. They look too garish, first of all, being that. And second thing, they make the rooms look more smaller. And suppose if there are number of members more in the house, then definitely they start looking too smaller. So I would, irrespective of the number of members, let's put it that way, smaller rooms, bright, like more subtle colors. So like a white, beige, mushroom colors. Usually try and do that. In terms of your furniture colors, also try furniture finishes and all. Keep it as simple as possible. Do not use too many or oriental stuffs or ornate stuffs and stuffs like that, like those heavy carved sofas and heavy carved chairs. Don't do any of those. Try and keep it as simple. Like, you want to use something which is ornate, take one product, maybe just a side table or a center table or a dining table, like whatever you're using in your house. Only one of that can be a really heavy carved stuff. Otherwise, try and keep it as simple so that it looks good, as well as you know s- when it's more cleaner lines, it cannot go pale. And then, as I say, that things like your curtains and stuffs like that, they can get in all of that other aspects of
Hmm.
creativity and design element to your room. You can do that.
Awesome. So we'll keep that in mind. Now let's move to the biggest room or the most used room in a house, the kitchen. How do we
Kitchen.
declutter a kitchen? Which is, I think, impossible. I know my husband walks into the kitchen ever so often now that he's home, and he says, "Ye kya rakha hai? Ye kyun rakha hai? Throw this away." And there are some things like you said, "Purko ke," my something that my mother-in-law owned when she got married first, and stuff like that which you can't throw away, which are still very good to use. So what do you do in a space like the kitchen? How do you design a kitchen and ensure that there's no declutter? I mean, there's no clutter,
Yeah.
sorry.
No clutter, yeah. So in kitchen, see, I have done when I began my job, I was I was designing only kitchen. Guess what? So I'm hands-on on kitchen. When it comes to kitchen, I'm like, okay, fine, I've done enough of this. Again, kitchen is something which I usually take the lady of the house in my confidence. I tell her, okay, sit with me, tell me how you function, how many kgs of rice do you keep? Every house is different.
Okay.
There are some houses which just keep 2 kgs of rice, and there are some houses which keep 25 kgs of rice. So spaces need to be allocated that way. It depends on the number of family. Let's put it that way. Our problem is not, let's not say our problem is not the number of members or anything like that. Our problem is collecting so many vessels. I think we have various sizes of tops in our house, the pots, pans, like it's like a chadi ka dukan in the house that we roam with. Like,
Yes,
so many pans.
absolutely.
And if you go to see, by and large, I don't know how much of it we actually use. Let's put it that way. Like, you would be cooking your sabji in that same pan every day. You would be
Yes,
doing your omelets in the same pan every day. But you have like all sizes and all the not required. Okay, really not required. So what you require is maybe one one big drawer for usual vessels like your bigger pressure cookers and stuffs like that. I always feel drawers work better in kitchen than the opening shutters. because it's easier to access them. So when you pull over the drawer, you get the full accessibility to that entire place. Like you know what is there. So I prefer drawers over opening of shutters. So even if I give openable shutters, I give them drawers. Second thing that I usually have in my kitchen is a tall cabinet, which we call as tall unit. The ones which is like a tall unit which you open and then you have drawers coming out from them, because that takes care of a lot of things like Kellogg's and your extra masalas and your extra biscuits and chips and stuffs and all of that can go in that. Your drawers under your counter can take care of all your vessels, your pots, pans, cutlery and stuff like that. Your idli, dosa. Now even coming back to things like your the old traditional ways of making idlis, which had those small vatis and all. Not required to keep something because you're not making them daily unless it's a family that makes it daily. Different thing. Keep it accessible. Otherwise, they can go into the higher cabinets. Always try to keep the loft storage in your kitchen because that is something which is used. That is something which has lot of like you saying, the older generation
Yes.
vessels which can go up there over there. So do keep all of those things. I always say that try and keep your cabinets which are on your overhead, which could be a glass cabinet, so that they're not into your eye. They don't look like, as if there is too much of wood in your room, or there's too much of, what do you say,
Hmm.
a darker looking color, because usually kitchens in Mumbai are not too big, they're too small. So maximum you get is two parallel counters. Let's put it
Hmm.
that way. In that two parallel counters, we are trying to put in so many things, right? From your juicer, mixer, oven, microwave, grinders, hob, chimney, aqua guards. Again, coming back to aquaguards, nowadays you get such beautiful RO water filters, which do not require, like that typically aquaguard looking kind of a machine on your face. They are machines which go under the sink. Use that so that at least you save space on that. Plus, at the same time, there's only one little nozzle that comes on top of your counter, which looks nice, which looks elegant. So I think you can do all of this to save, and so that they look aesthetically nice in your kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Very interesting trips, and I think as Indians we have this thing of hoarding our ancestral utensils, and I think there we have to talk about the mentality shift, and then we can
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Now, usually what happens, yet another thing, even in the kitchen, is that these days the kitchens are attached to the drying balcony, which has a lot of washing machine, dishwashers, and stuffs and all like that. So I usually generally suggest people that you take even things like all your these things, like your anything related to all these products into that zone only. Do
Okay.
a little cabinet up there which can take care of all those things out there only. You don't have to keep coming in doing to and fro to your kitchen to pick up all those things. I suggest that people, if they have that opportunity to do that, then they should do that.
Great, great. Okay, Wasami is asking us: are sofa come beds practical, functional wise? Do they last too? Okay. Are sofa come
Okay,
beds practical?
yeah. So it really depends that if see sofa cum beds are usually used in places where there is lack of space, like or if you don't, or you're too done with just seeing your room having beds all the time, and then you want to use a sofa cum bed. Now, the only drawback that I see with sofa cum bed is that after a while you yourself get bored of opening that sofa cum bed every day, especially if you have to open it every day. If you have to open it every day, then definitely I wouldn't recommend anybody to buy that sofa cum bed. A sofa cum bed is a good idea if it is in a study room or in your guest bedroom where you don't have too many guests coming in or something. But it's not a very practical idea. It's in your bedroom for you to open every day. If you're that into of opening it every day and closing it every day, very well and good. Otherwise, I'm a very lazy one. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't ever do that of opening it, closing it every day.
No,
Like
I think
it's a habit.
yeah, no, I think Mosimi is talking from the fact of having a sofa cum bed maybe in the living room, where you small houses in Mumbai, you have only two bedrooms, and then
Okay.
you have a guest. So in that case, does the sofa cum bed serve the
Of
purpose?
course,
Can
then in that
we?
case, photography definitely is of use. Definitely is of use because it's yet another bed added to your living room where you could, ask your guests to sleep or whatever, even if it's a family member to sleep in your living room. I was just thinking like there are a lot of people who want one of their bedrooms to look, spacious, and that's where they put in a lot of sofa cum beds. I wouldn't
Hmm.
recommend it over there. For a living room, yes, it is a good option for if you know that your family is having too much of guesting and you would be having people coming over to you again and again. Sofa cum bed is a good idea for for such families.
All right. Mansi is asking, where should washing machine and dryer be placed if there is no dry balcony in a house? Is it advisable to place it in the bathroom?
No, you wouldn't have that much of space in your bathroom to put in if you don't. Bathroom these days are too tight spaces, so I don't recommend that washing machine gets into the bathroom because of obviously for other reasons that the gadget would get spoiled very too soon. If you have an option where if it's you have an option where you can create a washing machine space by doing some civil changes to your bathroom, then you should do that. Don't put in your washing machine inside your bathroom. I wouldn't recommend that.
All right. Uh, Sneha, you know what? The conversations have been interesting, and I didn't even realize we have run out of time. But before we
Oh,
end,
really?
I had a lot more questions to ask you. But before we end, I always ask my guests to say this. Give me 5 tips. Give us 5 tips that our women can keep in mind the next time they look at their homes, the next time they want to remodel their homes, or the next time they just want to move furniture around. Any 5 tips that our women can use?
The first tip that I could say is first make a list. As I say, it's very important for you to decide what is required and what is not required. Anything after 10 number has to go out of your house. That is my first tip that I could give. Like, anything which is not required has to go out because it doesn't make sense because that is what is adding clutter to your place. Second thing, you have to be very sure of how long are you going to be in that space. Like if you want to keep, if you're very sure that after some time you want to change that look, change that space, then invest in something which is like as per the fashion, as per the trend, like that. But if you're not going to change it too soon, invest in always something which is more classical, which goes for a longer time, which looks more beautiful. So it's a beautiful carved um, tripod stand. Initially you would keep it in your living room as your side table. Maybe after a few years you can keep it outside your house at your entrance lobby with some planters, making it look like a product which is for your entrance. Maybe after some years you would want to change it, place it in your bedroom. So always be sure of the kind of style that you want. Third thing that I would say is that don't play with too many colors. Do not make your house a color game. Never ever do that. Be very subtle on your wall colors, especially so that you can play with colors on your cushions, upholsteries, bed sheets, linens. All that can be taken care over there. Fifth, I would say is let me think. There's so many actually. Five points won't be enough. You require much more than 5 points to this.
We'll have one
Um,
more session with you.
yeah, more than I would say that you should be very sure of your choices. Like, and yes, whenever I would say never rush to buy your curos and your artifacts. Take your time. It's your own house. Why do you want to rush and buy it? Like, I've seen so many people, once they do up their house, they want to buy all the artifacts at one go. Not required. You can, artifacts and stuffs are like, which is built with time. So do that. Don't rush into buying your stuffs at one go. You can always keep on adding stuffs to your place. Do not buy them at one go. I
Awesome,
think
awesome.
that's
This has
what I
been a
could think.
wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you. You have answered all the questions, no, not all the questions that I had in mind, but yes, we run short of time. But you have answered all the questions that my, viewers had. So that's like a plus point for me. Okay, somebody else has also asked tips on washroom organizing. Can we quickly squeeze that in? Washroom organizing?
Yeah, washroom organizing. Always try and have a unit below your sink so that you can all your basic amenities can be taken care over there. In your shower area, try and put in some glass shelves which takes care of your shampoos and stuffs like that. If you have something like a loft storage, okay, fine, where your pressure pumps and your geysers can be hidden, that can take care of it. Always try and keep your wet and dry area separately, so that's when the beauty of the washroom looks good. And always have though people don't use too many lights in your washroom, I still recommend that you should have one ceiling light, which is a dome light, which is a white light, and some nice fancy hanging lights, which becomes a yellow light, which looks makes the washroom looks a little more pretty, like in terms of colors. So I mean in terms of that yellow lights. So that's very important in the washroom as well.
Wow, I never thought of adding yellow lights to my washroom. My next project will probably be that. So thank you so much, Sneha. This has been wonderful. You have shared so many wonderful tips with all of us, and I know that everyone's mind is ticking right now, and hopefully we'll see some changes in everybody's home soon. So thank you, Sneha. Thank you for making time out for special Baat Laja ke Saath, and I'm sure that we'll be inviting you again because we have so much. The topic of organizing a home is like endless. There are so many aspects and so many corners. Yes, so many corners in a house that need, that personal touch from all of us. So nonetheless, thank you so much. Thank you from all our viewers, and thank you from Laja, thank you from Riddhi, and thank you from me. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Even I had a great time talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.
Yeah. Take care.